We all recognize the aura. A woman walks into a room, says absolutely nothing, and instantly turns every head. She commands silent respect, her decisions carry weight, and people naturally fall in line behind her. But behind that composure, the daily reality for many women is a quiet cycle of burnout. Meet Radhika. To her colleagues, she is the perfect professional, but at home, she is hiding the fact that she spent the last hour crying in her car, overwhelmed by the effort of maintaining the image. This drain occurs because many women are socialized to keep a running inventory of their own flaws. They can recall every small mistake and perceived shortcoming, but have no working vocabulary for their core strengths. That magnetic presence you see in the boardroom isn't an innate gift. It is the output of the Mastermind framework, a way of directing mental energy that prioritizes strategic observation over emotional reaction. Achieving this state doesn't require fighting the world or adopting an aggressive persona. It requires something much quieter, a deliberate reprogramming of the subconscious mind. The first step is gaining distance from your own reactions through a technique called name it to tame it. When you feel a surge of anxiety or frustration, simply labeling it, stating "this is fear," moves the activity in your brain from the reactive centers to the analytical ones. By creating that small gap of objectivity, you stop being a character trapped in a victim narrative and become the observer of it. This distance is what finally allows you to take the pen and start writing a new line for yourself. We see this logic in the career of Sudha Murty. When she began building the Infosys Foundation, she was met with open mockery. In a sector dominated by men, many assumed a woman wouldn't have the strategic depth to manage a massive philanthropic organization. She didn't waste energy arguing against the insults. Instead, she treated the mockery as background noise while she built a legacy that now supports thousands. The mockery didn't stop her. It became the benchmark for how much she had surpassed their expectations. In this framework, fear isn't a signal to retreat. It is the necessary friction that occurs when you are pushing into a space where you haven't been before. There is a common assumption that for a woman to hold power in a relationship or a workplace, she must be loud or combative. But true leverage is often found in silence. Masterminds use subtextual observation. When a colleague or partner reacts with anger, instead of mirroring that emotion, they look for the stress or exhaustion driving it. When you understand the why behind someone's behavior, you no longer feel the need to defend yourself against it. This clarity allows you to use the word no as a complete thought. It doesn't require a long explanation or a list of excuses. A boundary that needs 1,000 words to justify is a boundary that isn't yet respected. Protecting your energy means treating your mental bandwidth as a strictly finite currency. You have to decide which vectors are worth your time and which ones should be blocked at the perimeter to prevent burnout. Relational power isn't something you demand through an argument. It is something that is automatically granted to you when you show absolute clarity about where you end and others begin. Many women spend their lives maintaining masks: the perfect daughter, the accommodating wife, the tireless mother. The psychological toll of being perfect for everyone else is the loss of the authentic self. To drop the mask, you have to redefine failure. Instead of viewing it as a source of shame, the mastermind views failure as raw data, a neutral report on what didn't work. Consider Pooja. She launched a handmade business that was instantly crippled by a sudden citywide lockdown. To most, this was a catastrophe that proved her critics right. Her inventory sat in a desolate warehouse, and her revenue vanished overnight. But Pooja didn't focus on the misfortune. She itemized her logistical mistakes: poor timing, high overhead, and an over-reliance on physical retail. She treated the collapse as expensive training, and by the time the city reopened, she had pivoted to a leaner, more resilient online model. Once you stop fearing the judgment that comes with failure, you remove the primary tool that society uses to keep you in place. The final layer of this framework is looking outward. Once you have stabilized your own internal state, the goal is to show other women how to do the same, passing on the tools of resilience to the next person in line. Over time, these habits change how you are perceived. When you consistently analyze your failures and set clear boundaries, you naturally stop looking for external validation. This shift in focus is what gives you the steady, unshakable presence that others mistake for magic. It starts with a simple practice. Stand in front of a mirror, making your observations more important than the opinions of the room. You are deciding that you are the primary architect of your own time. True power is never a performance. It is a quiet, internal focus that eventually becomes so evident that the rest of the world has no choice but to adjust to it.